This is ContactTalkRadio.com. Consciousness in action. And you are taking action into your consciousness by tuning into Contact Talk Radio.
And on TuneIn.com, Hing.fm, and UpSnap Mobile.
Contact Talk Radio.
Welcome to Transformation with Tara Sutphen. Tara Sutphen is the author of Blame It on Your Past Lives and Soul Agreements. 3 audio CD series, metaphysical meditations, sourcing series, and sleep programming. Tara has also collaborated with Emmy Award-winning Shane Stanley and Marla Maples on numerous DVDs. Tara Sutphen is a master in the psychic sciences. If you'd like to find out more about Tara's work, upcoming seminars, and meditations to help you fulfill your dreams, visit her website at tarasutphen.com.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Transformations with Tara Sutphen. I am Jason McKean. I'm standing in for Tara, who is up. She is like teaching workshops right now. She is with a master guru up in Northern California. I'm sure she has like these amazing adventures that she will recant there, that she will talk all about next week when she comes back. But I am standing in for her today, and I am very fortunate to have a wonderful guest today. I have Patti Negri, who is Hollywood's favorite celebrity psychic. And she is a really wonderful personality here in Los Angeles, and along with being a psychic, she's also an actress who has worked with a lot of different celebrities, and she's also on TV shows too, like Private Chefs of Beverly Hills, where she's conjuring up dead celebrities. I totally want to find out who those dead celebrities were that she was conjuring up there. So Patti Negri, thank you for joining us this morning on Transformations.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Jason. I was so excited to get your call. I just think you are talk about wonderful, amazing personalities here in Los Angeles. I think you're right at the top of the list. So honored to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You when we were talking there, you said that in the past you had hosted your own radio show, and that you were kind of missing, the energy that it creates when you do that live broadcasting.
I really do. I didn't realize how much I'd miss it. I had a show with Janine Reagan Sinclair, another beautiful psychic in the UK. So it was like we were across the pond from each other, and we'd come up with subjects, and it was really great. And then we just decided, we'd been on for a couple of years, and we always had a subject matter, and we decided we'd run out of subject matters. We'd solved every problem in the entire universe, so there was nothing else to talk about. And then we thought we'd take a break. And it is, I don't even know if it's been 1 month or 2, but now I'm going, wow, nobody to talk to, which is crazy because I talk to people all day long. But radio, this is a beautiful medium. There's something different about when it's all audio versus the visual. It changes listening somehow for people.
Yeah, you really do have to zone into how people are saying things. It's like opening up a totally different sense there as far as hearing and seeing, knowing what someone's going through. But listening to the texture of the voice too, just to have added insight. It's a wonderful energy, and I like the energy of the moment of live radio. Anything can happen. I was doing a show a couple weeks ago, and the computer froze on me. It's like they call it like the spinning circle of death or something like that, when the cursor just starts doing its thing, and you know that you can't click on anything. You just have to let it cycle through and all. And here I was talking live, and I had a guest, and I couldn't click onto the guest. So the energy of, anything can happen is just like really, really amazing with radio.
Yep. So this is fun. So hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
So you did a show recently, the Private Chefs of Beverly Hills there.
Actually, that was not a recent one. That was a while back. That was my foray into cooking shows, which is funny because I was not the cook in it, and I'm the world's worst cook. But I've actually made it onto MasterChef since then, and cooked for Gordon Ramsay. And again, I'm the world's worst cook. I kept the 6-month audition process going. They're going to figure out any second that I do not know what I'm doing. No, tomorrow they're going to figure out that I don't know what I'm doing. But it was I went out with this whole thing of magical cooking, which is what I kind of talked about on Private Chefs, the Beverly Hills one.
Yes.
How and you know that everything is magical. The intent you put into it, ingredients you use, everything. So you can make a meal much more than a meal if you have an awareness and intent to it. So. Private Chefs of Beverly Hills was my first foray into that.
Mm-hmm. Is channeling one of your gifts? Are you able to channel like a Julia Childs or a
yes, but I think
Gourmet?
I wish, if anybody, it would be the Galloping Gourmet, because I must say that was my favorite show when I was a little kid. And I think he was drunk on his butt, but other than that, his free form, just pour a little in, it would be more my style. I think any of the real serious cooks probably would avoid me. You know, I can channel all sorts of people, but Julia Childs, I'm probably in her 10-foot pole department.
Okay, so she's not gonna show up.
Yeah, I remember going out on that MasterChef kitchen that first day, and really, it was like the second scariest thing I've ever done in my life. What am I doing? The 3 cameras, the MasterChef kitchen. I've got my little food going out there. I was cooking Eristos, son of Apollo, love pasta, I believe, for Gordon and the judges. And I'm like, the first thing I did is I picked up a salt grinder. I actually do know what a salt and pepper grinder is and how to use it, but this was a really modern one, and I couldn't figure up from down. So all of a sudden, my first, moments on the show is like, and this is Lucy. She doesn't know which way to do the salt shaker. I'm like, oh gosh, it's going downhill from here. But I actually got to Gordon Ramsay to actually say he was blanking himself. He's afraid of ghosts, I must say. So, and I'm probably the only person to get him to say that on air.
Yeah. Do you find that a lot of people are afraid of ghosts? You have like a lot of experience with the other side.
Yeah, that seemed. I knew when I was like literally 3 or 4 years old that those so-called imaginary friends little kids have weren't all imaginary. They were beings and spirits and entities you could talk to and get real information and communicate and play with. Never dark, never scary. They were just real. So I literally did my first seance when I was 7 or 8. And I went in my little suburban hallway that didn't have windows or lights, came up with my first chant, and realized I didn't know dead people. So I'm like, well, Marilyn Monroe and John Kennedy, this was the late 60s, they're dead. That's my foray into celebrities. Not that they really can. But all of a sudden, it's true, my dark, windowless, lightless hallway filled with lights and orbs, and me and my little girlfriend went out screaming, but inside I'm like, yeah, this is it. So I'm going to spend my whole life this searcher. So I have this ability, this gift that, so I've been doing seances for half a century, and people do come in fearful. So that's why I like the way I work, because they go away not fearful, respectful. Gosh, yes, you got to be respectful, because that's when you get into trouble. But you don't have to be fearful.
Right. So part of your job is building a bridge to understanding as far as the nature of the spirit world, right? And making it less of a fearful experience for others, especially if they're looking for guidance from relatives or others who have passed on. There. So you're fearful? You're that ambassador.
I like that. The ambassador of the dead.
Yeah.
I like that. Bridge is a nice word. I've always said I was a hand holder, but bridge is probably better.
Well, it all works as far as lessening the anxiety of that, and it's silly, right? Because it's like we all die, right? It's like we will all kind of end up on the other side there, and then however it works, if we come back or whatever. But it's like there can be just that fear of the unknown that people tap into, and they can't shake it, right? And so it's up to people such as yourself, who can, make it a meaningful experience for them and kind of just lessen the effects there. How did your childhood friend there, did when she ran out of the house with you, did she ever come back?
We stayed. We did stay friends, but she didn't do any more seances with me. No, she didn't. Where I was like all invigorated, going,
Yeah.
Let's go make some potions in the backyard.
The glimpse of your life's work.
Yeah, it was kind of. Yeah, I would. It's like, yeah, I am sitting in the backyard making up rhymes and picking weird ferns. Yeah, and talking to dead people. I would tell my mom, it's like, okay, I went to this house last night. She's like, you haven't been to that house. No one's been in that house. You're for 6. Oh, no. The living room's purple. There's ugly striped wallpaper in the kitchen. And she's like, okay. Okay.
Was she freaked out? Were your parents
really
supportive? Or?
My parents were really supportive. On my mom's side, because she kind of comes from a clairvoyant family, she would always talk to her mother and her grandmother, always know when somebody would die and an angel would come to the bed. So I have that nice, Protestant, come from the Europe, she was open to it. And I didn't have the it's evil or bad religious side of things because we weren't raised with that. And my grandfather, Patti Negri, was actually this big philosopher, a teacher, psychoanalyst, and he was like the leader of the atheist church in Los Angeles, hanging out with all those, very Freudian, so it wasn't like it's evil or of the devil because we had a pretty whacked out family anyway. So it was just another version.
Right.
So yeah, they were always supportive, and it was never not encouraged.
But it sounds like your mom had gifts there that maybe she didn't choose to further in, like make it public and all like.
Yeah, it's true. She did because she went into the Betty Crocker, the perfect mom, in the kitchen, not a working woman, raised her family. Though she was an entertainer, she was a singer and dancer, and went back into that heavily once the time I got into high school. And she danced until practically her dying day. Fast tap, big kick lines, boas, feathers, up well into her 80s. But no, my big brother, I have a pretty much quite a bit older brother. He was in Vietnam twice, and 2 times he caught on fire, and those 2 times my mother sat up in her bed on the other side of the thing and heard this fluttering in her ear, like she didn't know it was fire. She didn't know what it was. So, yeah. It's definitely a gift, and I actually think it's sort of both sides. On my dad's side, even though they were anti-religion or belief systems or anything that wasn't proved by science, my grandfather came from Turkey. We're Sephardic Turkish, so that Spanish, Gypsy, Turkish, Jewish blood on that side, and the clairvoyant on my mom's side. It's just hopeless. I'm there.
Have you been back to Turkey? Me and my wife, we were in Istanbul last December.
No, what I want to go so bad. It's magical. I know. Everybody who's ever been has said that. I don't know if it's a real word, but I call myself a Turkophile, like a Francophile. I have things all over my house from Turkey, whether somebody's brought it to me or I bought it on eBay. I've actually been as far as Greece once working on a gig, and it's like, I'm so close to Turkey, can't I get there? I'm in the islands, I'm waving, but no, that's high on my bucket list.
It's that blend of the ancient and the Western, and it's literally split. Like part of Istanbul is the European continent, and you cross the water there, and then Asia starts, right? So it's this mixture of energy that's just it's really incredible, and we have friends there that we made there, and I had the fortune of being able to read tarot across from literally across the street from the Blue Mosque there.
Wow.
This powerful religious holy place.
Yeah.
And it was just, I was blown away just by the honor of being able to do my thing in such a very spiritual place.
That's
fantastic.
fabulous.
Yeah. I mean, it really made the whole trip just really wonderful, because I was just open to it. I was just open to, whatever was going to happen. Going to Istanbul, I wasn't sure, and I was just pleasantly just blown away by it. The surprise of it and the people and all, just love the whole energy of it. So it can be politically problematic, like you hear about like the uprising and
right.
so like that just happened recently, and there have been a few terrorist attacks and on the airport and all that. So it's like, we went at a good time. We went at a good time.
Yeah, that's good. I know that's the whole world now is a little shaky there. I'm actually getting ready. I'm not a big traveler, but I'm actually getting ready for a very big trip going to France, and it's a little scary. It's another a little bit, volatile place right now.
Yeah, and just when we for ourselves, when we go into a place of expansion, when we know that we need to go to a certain place, it's like it's about not diminishing that, right? It's about not fearing the future, and going for where it is that we need to go.
Yep.
What are you planning on doing? Some psychic work there in France, or?
Well, I'm going to hopefully, but I'm not going. It's not a work trip. Actually, it's one of my best friends in the whole world.
Yeah.
His 60th birthday, and we're going to a castle an hour out of Paris. That's from the year 1290.
Wow.
I know. I'm like, oh my God! Think of the spirits that's going to be in there.
It's going to turn into work. Right?
Yeah, it's going to turn into just woo.
Yeah, because everyone's going to want to tap in and be able to utilize your gifts there, and do a seance. Now, the seance that you have in your bio there, what was that about?
I don't. Is that? Oh, you mean the Beverly Hills one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that was pretty funny because it's a reality show and it's a cooking show. The food is the star of cooking shows. I've done seances on lots of different shows, and everyone is different, as you know, because you're going within the personalities of the people there and what they're open to. But this one was kind of goofy because it's a cooking show, so they wanted me to cook like Marilyn Monroe's favorite food, Marlon Brando's favorite food, it was Frank Sinatra's favorite food, and Elvis's favorite food. And then I wanted to bring in the magical aspect of like to these chefs, because this is who they wanted to bring back. So, yeah. So these chefs, they had to cook whatever. Marilyn like hot dogs with caviar. I think Frank Sinatra like osso buco. Marlon Brando like some kind of was a chow mein or a Chinese food, and Elvis was fried peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Yeah,
so there's a kind of a silly aspect. And then I'm handing them magical herbs. Okay, you have to put some dandelion root in that so we can contact spirit. And I was giving them this list of magical of things that they have to put in it, which was sort of their cooking challenge.
Yes.
And again, it could not certainly be as dark as I would like. TV never can, but certainly a show where the food is the star can't.
So keep it light. Keep it light, right?
Keep it light. Marilyn actually did show up. We got a little information from her, just little. Frank Sinatra did not come to the party. Elvis did not come to the party. Marlon Brando, I think, showed up for 1 second and was like, what the heck do you want with me? I got none of this. None of this. Okay, sorry, sir. Okay. I'm not into reality show cookies. Okay. But
he's pretty imposing, right?
Yeah, he was. Because one thing I have discovered is big in life, big in death. If you're sitting around a seance table or just a mediumship and you're with, a bunch of people, or just normal, regular people, and their dead banker dad or the mechanic uncle is not going to be if you're like when you're calling somebody who was big in life, whether a celebrity or a musician or whatever. It's true. They continue on that spirit. They can get very theatrical.
As far as when someone crosses over, it's like we wonder what we take with us, right? As far as what aspects of our personality, do you find that people have a higher perspective, right? Like that, does death change one's perspective, or can one still kind of like be like the same person and not see kind of the significance of of where they're at, right?
Yeah, I think just like with humans, a lot of people, it's a little bit of both. As a rule, in my findings, people do kind of get it a little bit better. Like, oh yeah, that was kind of petty. That really wasn't important. Or like that fight with grandma over the whatever I shouldn't have fought with my brother. It seems like they have a bigger picture to me.
Yeah.
But people who have issues still often have issues. I need to be liked, or I need to be that. So I think it's something that they're working through. Plus, I think, who knows? We don't know. But it's essences of. I'm not going to say Uncle Bob is standing right here. We're getting that essences of his spirit, of his soul is right there. Because I had to figure that out once. I do believe in reincarnation, and somebody told me in the 80s that I was this person I'd never heard of, Barbara Lamar. She was an old, famous silent movie star. I'm like, yeah, everybody. This was the 80s with Shirley MacLaine. Everybody's somebody famous. Yeah. We're all Cleopatra. But I ran out, and there was my exact handwriting on a book and my exact eyes. So she looked like every 1920s with the little dark bob and the white skin.
Yeah.
But then the universe is throwing these people in front of me, like people who collected her. And so I'm like, well, I knew that she had a house in Hollywood. That's all I knew. So I drove around Hollywood, and I said, if I built a house, I would know. And I picked one house out of the 100,000 in the hills, and then the universe threw somebody else in my face, and they said, do you want to see a picture of Barbara Lamar in front of her house? And there she was, standing in front of the house I picked out randomly. Okay, so it was wild.
Amazing.
It was
That
amazing.
is amazing.
And even more amazing is that I got to go in that house last year, and I knew every moment of it. So, but my story is okay, I believe it. I actually do start out skeptical in a lot of things. I am Barbara Lamar. And so then one day I'm doing a seance, and there shows up Barbara Lamar. Well, how the heck does that work? If I'm you, who are you? So that's my philosophy is kind of that we are essences of, or streams of. So I'm not completely Barbara Lamar. I have some of her,
Right.
but she could still be out there. So even if you believe in reincarnation and, Uncle Bob is coming back into your new niece or nephew, essences of, he can still be out there.
Have you been able to tap into some of the projects that she was involved in, the movies and all?
We just have really crazy parallel lives of things. I haven't even looked at tapping into her movies, but same weaknesses, same strengths. She died exactly at 30. I was born exactly 30 years later. And at 30, instead of dying, my whole life changed for the positive. I took on a whole new attitude and went from like this kind of victim whatever to this like, I'm going for my gifts. So, and similar things. So not to her movies, but I do live I have a house in the Hollywood Hills, not less than 5 minutes from where her house, I have a 1920s house in the Hollywood Hills. So we have parallel.
It's like you've definitely, you're like attached to like her likes and all. It's like, did she, when did she pass?
1926.
Wow. So really, really early then. As far as
really
she may not have felt like that fulfillment, right, of having the long life and being able to experience the life in the hills. So it's like that's passed on to you, right? And
right. So I'm finishing it off. What she couldn't do, what she couldn't do. She and in her short life, she had 6 husbands. I've only had 3.
Wow.
I'm learning and growing as we go. I think I'm stopping here. But again, parallels. But I'm hoping that this life for me is learning from her mistakes and not going there with them, so that, that's what we're here for. I think it's all school, whichever side of the veil we're on, it's all school.
Do you think that time is linear as far as, is she learning from, your life too, right?
I'm sure she is, because again, in my experience, we have this very linear time, but I think on the other side it's not so linear. It doesn't exist the same way or at all, that time and space thing. So yeah, it's probably a mutual thing.
Yeah, like I was doing a meditation not too long ago where I was visiting a younger version of myself, and that younger version was forgiving me, like my present self, right? As opposed to me like going back and like forgiving kind of the past person, for anything that they had done, right? It's like that past person was forgiving me, right? My older self, right? And it got me to thinking that how our linear perception of time, right, is it's not complete, right? As far as there are people, parts of ourself that are within us that they kind of enact what we keep creating, right, as far as our life, and so everything kind of works together. The past version of ourselves, the future version of ourselves, they're kind of like happening in the present moment, but they're trying to all like kind of create the present, right? And so all these energies are drawing kind of at the same time there, and so I don't know that it's a I'm sorry, it's kind of convoluted in my head because it's like.
But I get it, yeah. I agree. It is hard for us to conceptualize, but I agree. It's not that same linear. It's not that same.
Right. Where it's a direct cause and effect, like all the time. It's like, because there's versions of ourself. I think that potentially can travel back in time, right, to affect who we are today, and try to correct things, try to make it so that we're learning from mistakes. It would probably be a more interesting movie than trying to explain it, right? It can be done in kind of that fashion. What do you have going as far as acting projects right now?
Acting stuff that I have the world's tiniest part in a really cool movie. There's a new film out, a little indie film it's called Spaceman. It's about Bill Spaceman Lee. Yeah. He was a Red Sox pitcher, and he was like a total stoner. He got kicked out of the major leagues because he was high and kind of blackballed from baseball, but he never gave up the game. He's actually running for governor now, and he's like 70-something years old, and he's still playing in senior leagues. But anyway, it's Josh Duhamel plays him. It's a lovely film. If anybody look for it, it's called Spaceman. It's all about this guy's life, and I actually had literal seconds. I got to play Ernie Hudson's wife. Ernie Hudson was one of the original Ghostbusters from way back when, the black guy. He's a doll. I'm like, you're a Ghostbuster, and I'm a Ghostbuster of a different sort, and how cool is this? So, again, it's blink fast, it's there, but I have this kind of pivotal little moment as his wife, and I did get the biggest laugh in the movie. Whether that's good or bad, I'm not sure. No, but it was very cool.
Is it intentional, that laugh?
Yes, it was. I mean, they had me completely overdo it, and it was.
Then it's good.
So, yeah, it's good. I just went to the screening of it with the cast and crew, and it was really fun. So that's my only acting thing out there. I've got a couple Me Being Me, that reality world I wandered into a few years back. I've got, I think, a new Ghost Adventures, the Travel Channel show, the Zach Bagans. I think October 1st I've got another one airing. Mm-hmm. I've got a really goofy little Bad Girls Club, which is an Oxygen show. I like to bring light to these little girls and beat each other up. It's like, okay, get rid of the negativity. We're clearing their house, the house that these old girls all live in. I think that's going to air this month.
Is that what happens in that realm, the Bad Girls realm? It's like they pit people against each other kind of situations.
and I won't feed into, I don't want to feed into that, but I will go in and bring them light, because, you know, they put kind of girls with like anger problems, a lot real kind of urban girls, and they put them in a house together and give them alcohol sometimes, and you're party girls. So, but we went in, they had moved into a new house, and to clear the energy. So even if we're doing it in a fun, light, you know, reality TV way, we did a whole house clearing, and I made them aware of things, and they're like, get out. So it gave them a form of empowerment and awareness. So,
right.
So that's fun.
Do you feel that you're clearing like a negative personality that's like feeding off of the negative interaction of people, or is it just like a memory, or, you know, some traumatic memory that's in a space, you know, that you're clearing? What is it exactly that you're clearing?
Actually always different, just like life. Yeah, because I do a lot of clearings too. That energy thing is mine. So yes, I will go into a place that's, wow, there's just entities here. There is portals here. There is vortexes, all sorts of things. Or they've got so many mirrors facing each other, they've creating it, or antiques. I'm house full that they've got stuff with things attached to stuff, so it really is spirit. Sometimes it's just, you know, heavy energy. There's been sadness or anger or illness, and it kind of just, like, it needs a good dusting energetic. So even when I work with people, we clear it, like everybody clears it, but it's like, okay, now let's empower it. You know, what comes in this window? Who's allowed in this door? What is the feeling you want here? What color? So we flip it, and I show them how easy it is to flip the energy, and starting with their perception and then going from there. And the Bad Girls Club, again, they put together these little girls who don't know each other, young girls, and I see energy. So whether intentional or not, I could even see, like, there's this one room that was their phone room, where the only place they could talk to their family. And they, like, architecturally, they made these big points, almost like scales in the room pointing at you. And energetically wise, they were creating, like, really negative energy. In a feng shui point, I have a more pagan version of feng shui, but I've studied some Eastern feng shui too. It's just like, I forget what they call those points, but they're dark. It's a room full of swords in a sense. So I don't know if the architect did that on purpose, energy-wise, or that's just how it happened. But yeah, we had to clear that, and we had to make them something else, at least consciously, so then we can re-empower those little scale things.
Yeah, it's like you have all these daggers pointing at.
Yeah, they were daggers. This whole room is daggers.
And one can feel just threatened just walking into it, you know.
Yeah.
And one's protective, you know, sense, their shielding goes up, and they feel like they have to be on the defensive there. That's really interesting. That's really interesting as far as like the psychology of space, and then, you know, how people interact in that space.
Yeah.
Is as you say, is the point of that show, is it, you know, so everyone can learn to live in harmony, you know, by the end of the season, or the end of the run of it?
Yeah.
Or?
I think so. I think it is one of those, you know, it's a little voyeuristic, watch the bad girls get good. But again, I would only do it if I didn't feed that bad part, if I, you know, gave them a different option to do it. So yeah, but I think that is the purpose, and then they change girls.
Right.
You know, then a whole new set comes in.
So your mission is to be a positive influence in there.
Yes, my mission is to be a positive influence, and to open their perception a little bit, whatever it is, and empower them in their own lives. You know, in whatever way. You don't have to believe my philosophy. You don't have to believe my whatever. But, you know, think about this. You know.
Right. Yeah. To point out kind of where their part in the relationship is. You know, like what they're bringing to it. And, you know, do they want harmony? Do they want to create a harmonious relationship, or do they want to, you know, keep fostering disharmony?
Right. And how much control we have over it.
Right.
And just in the psychological, you're not even getting into the energetic or the magical or the spiritual or anything. It has to start with the head. I believe that.
So you feel that it begins with a mindset?
I think you have to have the mindset. And there's lots of ways to help you fill the mindset. I mean, to me, it's all about getting that crystal clear view of what you want. You could do it lots of ways. People do it with religion. People do it with prayer. People do it with affirmation. People do it with It's the Secret. People do it with I have vision boards, or I'll write something 1,000 times, or I'm going to do a ritual, or I'm going to do a spell. I'm going to do a magical working. I'm going to do a candle. All these things they're all fabulous and ways, and you find the ones that work for you to create that I see it, I smell it, I taste it, I feel it, then now I can create it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then as far as like the energetic aspects, as far as building that, right, to give it potency, that mindset, do you use any specific type of routines or traditions?
Yeah, I work very elementally. I come from a long-standing Wiccan background the last 25 years, but since that, the last 10 years, it's been spreading. I really like to look at lots of different cosmologies. I'll go look at Peruvian shamanism for a while. I'll look at Native American for a while. I'll look at traditional craft, more spirit-based for a while. I'll look at Feng Shui Eastern for a while. I'll look at this, and I get beyond the words. You see what that through line of that energy and that cause and effect is. So then I throw it all into one pot, and the similarities are amazing. I mean, energetically and belief system-wise.
Right. So you see the common threads that run throughout all of them, and that's like the truth that you take from it. Right?
Yeah. So your words can be different than my words, and I do work elementally because I do have this thing for nature, and I do, think, I do believe herbs and oils and scents and nature and rocks and things, they're tools for us to work with, and they're alive, so why not use them? If you have an automatic dishwasher, why wash by hand?
Well, it's like, like food is the best medicine, right? As far as preventively and all that. It's like, my wife is always like, reinforcing that into my head, where it's like, we eat well or organic and so that later on down the road, you're not like having to take, 50 different medications to just heal yourself from what junk food, by eating stuff that is not nutritious, right? Where, you're having to offset that down the road. And why not start with the basics kind of up front there? Right.
And it all adds to I say cause and effect, action and reaction. Everything affects everything. It really does.
So you're infusing like foods with specific herbs and doing intention setting rituals. Do you bless your food?
I do. I try to remember. I'm not perfect, but I really do try to be respectful of what I'm eating and remember to take the time. And I am conscious. Like, even if I'm like stirring my morning coffee, it's like, okay, I'm going to go diesel. I'm going to go clockwise, and I'm going to add a little energy into it. Or, okay, I'm feeling angry today. I'm going to go Wittersons. I'm going to go counterclockwise and let go of some of this anger right now. Even just stirring my coffee.
Right.
It's an awareness, and it's work. The energy of it works.
But staying very conscious about how energy can affect us, right? And in that positive, negative way. Are you a tea drinker at all?
I am.
I'm going to be talking with Peter Bedard there in a week or so. He's like in Peru doing a workshop there. I asked if he was going to Machu Picchu and all that, but he's going to be just doing a workshop. It's like Peter Bedard. He has a nonprofit organization that benefits kittens, right?
No, he works with you and I. We just did a fundraiser at a coffee shop, the Muddy Paw Cafe, where the money went for kittens. Peter doesn't, but that's what it was. Lex Paws that we were doing, and our donations of our readings went to. Peter has this nonprofit called Create Your Health, and it's his teas. He's also a teacher hypnotherapist, but his teas are amazing. He used to have a brick and mortar shop in Silver Lake, and then he had one downtown.
Mm-hmm.
Now I think he's online, but those are my teas. They're amazing. Talk about magical. And
I have to tap into him.
Tap into him. Go createyourhealth.com or whatever. Peter
Mm-hmm.
Bedard. We met over 20 years ago, probably 25 years ago. We were in some little troupe of writing together, like some New Age cable show or something, sketch comedy for, environmental New Age, whatever, and that's how we met. And then when I started my production company, Brain Brew, he came into it, one of my performers and writers and actors, and we've just been the dearest of friends ever since.
So it was like New Age activism that you were through teaching through comedy?
Yeah. It's really hard for me to be really, really serious, so go with comedy. I'm too animated. I'm too big. When I was a kid, I was a model. I was a teen model, but I'm just always been clumsy. I've always been over the top. So if you're trying to do the bride, I was like the all-American girl, worked for Kodak. But if you're wearing a bridal gown and you're walking down the ramp and then you fall off, you all of a sudden again start turning it into Lucy, or you're teaching etiquette to little girls and you fall off a chair.
I was going to say that Lucille Ball influence, right? I have the fortune of being born on her birthday.
Really?
Yeah,
how
August
awesome
6th.
is that?
Yeah.
That is awesome. She was amazing. Just amazing.
Completely. Do you ever go to like Desilu, like there in Culver City, like just a kind of there what is there? There's a either a coffee shop or a restaurant there that is like kind of dedicated to them. Like,
no, but I'll have
her
to.
Her husband there. It's off of either Washington, kind of near the old Selznick Studios building, the one that they have at the beginning of Gone with the Wind.
Oh wow! I know. I haven't even heard of it. I will have to though, because a lifelong fan.
Yeah. So people can go to your website, right? To find out all about what you're involved with and to get like private readings. You do what's your website, Patti?
PattiNegri.com. PattiNegri.com. And you can get everywhere from there. You can get to my YouTube page and my Facebook pages, all that social media that spins my brain.
It's pretty amazing, right? It's like I did on my contact page, I updated it with all of my social media, and it's just like, Instagram and Periscope and Twitter, and it just hard. Doesn't stop.
It doesn't. So it's like trying to keep your focus on what you do, because I'm way more old school than that. But yeah, PattiNegri.com. I have a little newsletter that I try to send monthly, but I haven't got out July yet, and it's September, so I guess it isn't monthly. People can sign up for. But I don't try to sell anything. I just send out the one I'm getting ready to do is actually going to be Magic in the Kitchen. So if anybody wants to sign up, you'll get that.
It's just insights. Is that what the newsletter is?
Oh no, it's called Witch's Brew.
Mm-hmm.
It's Witch's Brew. My YouTube page is Holly Witch Boulevard, and if you go over to the media section of my PattiNegri.com, that's where you can get all sorts of silly and hopeful things.
Fantastic. When you're doing your psychic work there, do you tap into different modalities, tarot cards?
I often start with tarot because it's for me. I'm an intuitive reader. It's a really easy jumping place for me.
Yeah.
But so it just helps me tune in. But yeah, I do not have a set way to do things. Whether it's because it turns out to a tarot reading, or it turns out to be mediumship, or it turns out to be energy work, or a magical working, or it turns out to. It kind of depends on the person. What their needs are, and then I really try to listen of how they're going to hear me.
Yeah.
Here's what I hear spirits telling me they need to know, and how might they hear me?
So it's about connecting with the querent first, and then deciding on what best modality
Yeah.
is going to connect.
Yeah.
Make that deepest
Yeah.
connection. Yeah.
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 Again,
As-
I let Spirit guide me, and then a little bit of my left brain going, that old actor, speak to your audience. If I could have a really strong Christian faith, I'm going to not talk their faith, but I'm going to stay within their comfort level.
right. Right. Do you get a lot of Christians who are looking for psychic readings?
Yeah, I do. And again, I respect that, because in my searching years, believe me, I've gone everywhere. When I was 13, it was because I'd never been in a church or anything. It's like, and that was in those 1970s, those Jesus people, and all the cool rock concerts are at Christian. So, man, I've done it all. I've been baptized in the ocean and hanging out and living in Christian living apartments, all sorts of things. So, again.
Yeah.
And I respect it, and I get it. I don't negate any of it, and there's many paths, there's many, many roads to Rome, and I'm not saying anyone is better. It's just the one that gets you there comfortably. So I think, again, that's Spirit led me there to be a gift, to be able to understand and speak within their comfort level without, being anything fake or anything like that.
My great-grandfather from Germany, he was a Lutheran minister. My grandfather, his son, was a Lutheran minister. It's like I grew up in that church as a young man. But it's like, there is an aspect of what we do as readers that is in kind of the same vein as a ministry, in the sense that I feel that most readers are called.
Yes. It was never in my plans.
Yeah, it's like, why would I choose this for myself? As far as like it's incredible work. It's very fulfilling work, right? But at a time in your life, you feel like you are called to service, right? And it is one of service. It is one, where we go into other people's war zones, right?
Yeah.
And seek to comfort and find, you call it like hand holding, right? And it's, but it's about, finding a way forward, clearing paths, finding solutions, and it's important work. And however it comes about, however the verbiage needs to be, as far as so that someone is not like, thrown completely out of their comfort zone, and they think that, you're just spewing nonsense, right? Or just, it's important that we do make that human connection, that spirit connection with someone where, it's that, recognizing that someone's path is valid, right? Someone's spiritual journey is valid, and that we are, that we are, a part of that. We are part of helping each other there. And it's amazing work. And I do respect you highly for, going on that journey and also having fun with it too, because that's, part of being in LA, right? As far as, tapping into a persona and just, making yourself known out there.
There's, again, lots of platforms, lots of ways. Somebody will get something from me and who I am, not trying to be who I am, whether it's, on a TV thing or my one-on-ones with them. I'm very, very approachable. I'm very easy to open. Somebody might hear me who might not hear somebody else who's more serious, who's more this, who's more that. And then somebody might hear them who would not hear me. That's where there has to be many of us, many departments in the grocery store. There has to be. We're all different. People are.
Yeah, and you are very approachable. I just want to tell everyone that.
Oh.
It's like, go to pattinegri.com and, she won't bite you.
I know, and it's just because I love people. I do. I love life. I love people, I feel like an 8-year-old in that I wake up, it's like, oh my God, I'm alive today. Let's do this, let's do that. It's that, and I don't even have to work hard at it. It's just a gift. I'm so lucky. So why would you close that off? Because again, I see energy. I think you see it. So it's all about that vibration, and just bringing in some lightness will raise your vibration. Raising your vibration opens everything. That easy.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I'm so happy that we've had this chance to talk today and just kind of I've known you for quite a while because of my association there at the Green Man store.
Mm-hmm.
And
I love the Green Man.
And we did get the chance to talk there at the Lux Paws charity, and Peter did invite me back for the next one.
Yeah, I think he's looking at November or something. So anybody in the LA area, win-win. Donation only readings. It all goes to animal rescue, or whichever ones we've used. Last couple times it's been Lux Paws, and have a good cup of coffee.
Amazing coffee there that we had at Muddy Paw there in Silver Lake. Is that where it is?
Yeah, I think it's Silver Lake. Silver Lake. Yeah.
I'm so like West Side. I've been in Malibu for forever, and so when I venture out into like Silver Lake and Echo Park and all that, it's like an adventure. It's like I don't know where I'm at, and I'm like dependent on my GPS. And
that's funny because I'm the same way, opposite. I'm like that when I go west. I mean, I love it out there in Malibu. My gosh, that's just magic all around.
Hey, there's one street. There's one street in Malibu, right? Just PCH.
Yeah, but put me over on the west side by Marina Del Rey, even Culver City. I am lost. For somebody who gives direction, I have no sense of direction at all. And for somebody who works elementally and works a compass, north, I don't know. If even in a hotel room, if I'm walking towards the elevator, undoubtedly I'm going the wrong way.
I'm the same. I'm lousy with direction, but as far as like being able to see someone's life, the big picture of their own life, it's like, I can zero right in on it. But just where I'm at in a given moment, I don't know. So, again, your website.
PattiNegri.com, PattiNegri.com, and then surf from there.
Fantastic. I really appreciate you taking the time with us today, Patti, and I look forward to seeing you there in the future. And it looks like it'll probably be there at another charity reading event there.
Beautiful, and thank you so much for this opportunity. And you guys are lucky to have Jason here too. Check him out. Your website, your work at the Green Man. You're one of the amazing ones, sir. So
thank you.
Let them know. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my website, jasondmckean.com, and I'm fortunate to be able to stand in for Tara today on transformations with Tara Sutphen, and she will be back next week doing her psychic work, and she does workshops, shamanistic type workshops up in all over. Like she'll do Sedona, she'll do mystic trainings where she's teaching psychic ability, bringing that out for people, and it's like you two would enjoy each other. If you haven't run into her, like she does some Beverly Hills work and stuff like that.
Yeah, I haven't. I actually went to her website, and she looks pretty amazing.
She really is. You talked about building the seance in your hallway, right? With your friend there when you were kids. It's like when I was younger, I had a birthday party that was like a McDonald's muscular dystrophy type of carnival party, right? So instead of gifts, people brought money, and then we gave it to the McDonald's to give to Jerry's kids and all that. And she was the fortune teller there in the tent, when she was like 13, something like that. So I gave her start.
How cool is that?
No, she was definitely in that mindset, but it was a lot of fun. So, Patti, thank you so much.